Hi, I'm Tish and welcome back to my channel Auto Social UK and to another episode of Pocket Rocket Polls. Can you believe it's been nearly 3 months since I did one of these episodes? It literally feels like last week that I was reviewing the Suzuki Swift Sport. If you're just joining me now, if you've not seen an episode of Pocket Rocket Polls before, essentially I take fast little cars around 150 brake horsepower and pin them up against each other for things like performance, practicality and also their interior and exterior styling. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So on today's episode of Pocket Rocket Polls, it is of course the Abarth 595. Now you might be wondering, but Tish, you've literally just bought an Abarth. Why aren't you featuring that on Pocket Rocket Polls? Well, there's a couple of reasons why. The first being, this one's yellow, and I just thought it looked great and I really wanted to get it on the channel. The second one is because, of course, I have the Turismo, which is slightly higher powered. This entry-level car gets 145 brake horsepower and slots in perfectly with the cars that I've already featured on Pocket Rocket Polls. Okay, let's start by talking about exterior styling and design. Now this is always going to split opinions because of course the Abarth 595 is based on the Fiat 500 and a lot of people have made up their minds as to whether they like it or dislike it. So really this kind of section of the video is going to be completely opinion based. But my opinion, of course I've just bought one, I think they look fantastic. They've got all that kind of cutesy retro styling of the Fiat 500, but they're much more aggressive with their flared out wheel arches. Around the front of the car, you've got this matte black splitter with the Abarth spelled out across in the honeycomb grille and the fog lights integrated into it. Coming up the bonnet, you've of course got a much more flared design, but you've still got these classic round Fiat 500 headlights, which really do look quite endearing. It comes in the option of either having 16 or 17-inch alloy wheels on the higher spec models, but even these 16 inches on the entry-level car look really great, and you've got some option of having all different alloy wheels if you'd like to customise it. Customisation actually on the Abarth is absolutely fantastic. To start with, of course, this comes in this striking yellow, but you've also got the options of having it in a bright green, and then you've got some more kind of subtle colours like your whites, your greys, your blacks, and you've also got matte options. There really is a huge amount of choice. On top of all of that, you can change the mirror caps, and you've also got decals that you can really kind of add your personality to this vehicle. Personally, I really like the 3D Abarth and 595 badging, and I think it just gives it a premium touch. You have got a rear spoiler on the Abarth 595, not quite as large as some of the other cars we've had on Pocket Rocket Polls, but that's probably going to come down to your personal preference, whether you like a big spoiler or not. My favourite part is this rear diffuser, which houses the rear tailpipes. Now these are the standard exhaust, not the Monzo, but I still think they look fantastic. Overall, like I said, it's definitely going to be a personal opinion, but I'd score the Abarth 595 an 8 out of 10 for exterior styling and design. Inside of the Abarth 595, and it just oozes that retro styling. This bright yellow dashboard will definitely make you grin from ear to ear, but unfortunately that's probably where the grinning is going to stop because everything feels just a little bit cheap and not particularly well screwed together. But then again, what do you expect from a Fiat? Specification is hit and miss. You've got a really nice leather wrapped multifunctional steering wheel and a digital instrument cluster, which was still quite rare to find in a 2017 car. These seats aren't particularly the greatest. I really like the shape and I like the suede with the Abarth across them, but the interior cloth just feels a little bit cheap. You have got air conditioning, Bluetooth, you've also got DAB radio, but it's lacking in anything like cruise control, automatic lights or wipers. I haven't got any parking sensors, I haven't got a satellite navigation, and unfortunately in this age model you didn't get App Connect as standard, so you can't use your phone through the infotainment screen either. Overall, interior quality and specification is just a little bit poor, and I'll have to give it a 4 out of 10. You certainly don't buy the Abarth for its practicality. It only comes in the option of a 3-door and there really is minimal space in the back there, really only to be used in emergencies. You also have no height adjustment on the seat, which is a real shame. It only tilts forwards and backwards, but once you've tilted it all the way back, it leaves a really big gap down the rear where you can lose items. It will also come to no surprise to you that the boot is also pretty small, with 185 litres available, but at least that's more than you get in the Abarth 595 convertible. Overall, I'm going to have to score the Abarth a 4 out of 10 for practicality. Now next up is a section that the Abarth stands pretty unbeaten in, and that's exhaust sound. Let's start her up and I'll show you what I mean. See what I mean? It doesn't get much better than that from exhaust noise, and this isn't even the record Monza. I'm going to have to score it a 9 out of 10, and the only reason I'm dropping a point is it might just be a little bit too ASBO for some people. All versions of the Abarth 595 get a 1.4 litre T-Jet engine. Now this entry-level car produces 144 brake horsepower and will sprint from 0 to 62 in 7.8 seconds, which is actually pretty impressive. That brings it in at second place on Pocket Rocket polls, just behind the DS3. Now this is actually the lowest power version, as I mentioned previously. The Turismo produces 160 brake horsepower and the Competizione 180. So had I been testing those cars, they probably would have taken the top spot. The enjoyment of this car is definitely helped by that fruity exhaust and the visible boost gauge. It means that you can really push the car to its limits to get the best out of it. To get the best out of it, you want to be hitting around 3,000 RPM, and that's when the Abarth really comes to life. In the Turismo and the Competizione, you can probably get away with running those cars without having to have them in sport mode. However, when it comes to this entry-level car, you're definitely going to need it in sport to make sure you get the best of its ability. Overall, performance is really something to be enjoyed. It's really made for swinging around these back roads with that great exhaust note and the really engaging drive, and I'll give this a 7 out of 10 for performance. The Fiat 500 sitting on 15-inch alloy wheels has always been known for its slightly rough ride, especially because of the fact that you can't adjust this seat. So in the Abarth, when you add the stiffness of its suspension with its performance, it really does have a ride that's a little bit like a pogo stick. You definitely wouldn't want to drive this car if you had a bad back. However, handling is quite sharp. Yes, if you push it really hard, it does start to wobble, and especially when you hit high speeds. But otherwise, it's pretty good when you're in everyday driving, and it kind of adds to that enjoyment and charm of it. I'll have to give handling a 5 out of 10. Last up is price and value for money, and if you're looking for a unique car, then perhaps the Abarth 595 isn't the way to go, as there is tons of these for sale in all of their different variants on Auto Trader. But what that does prove is it's a really good, fun, enjoyable little car, and they're really popular. Plus, it will set you back a few £1,000 less than a Mini Cooper S or a Polo GTI. And because of that 1.4 litre engine, it's probably going to cost less to run as well. This car is for sale here at Quest Motor Group for £10,490, with under 30,000 miles on the clock, which is really good value for money. However, I'm going to score it a 5 out of 10, as I just don't think it's going to hold its value as much as some of the more unique cars I've had on Pocket Rocket polls. The Abarth 595 is undeniably a great little pocket rocket, and owners really rave about them. Sure, it might have some interior quality issues, but it makes up for it in just its sheer charm and that great sounding exhaust. All of the scores totted up, and the Abarth 595 gets a 6 out of 10. I don't know, maybe I've been a little bit mean on it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a massive thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.